If you'd like to spend the day exploring part of this wonderful country, well, I have not one but two spectacular locations within easy reach of the Orwella Costa, which you can visit in one day and will be a huge hit with all of the family. First is the Fonts de el Algar, or Algar Waterfalls, a natural beauty spot found behind the hills of Altea near Calosa. As seen on the second season of the popular television show Benidorm, these waterfalls are a great place to visit, to have a picnic and go for a dip in the icy cold pools, which are Mother Nature's answer to the water parks of Benidorm. For budding photographers, there are ample opportunities to take that perfect picture to show off to family and friends. For hikers and people who enjoy going on walking tours, this is a great place of natural beauty. For the slightly more adventurous amongst you, make sure you bring a good pair of walking shoes and sturdy legs. They do charge an entrance fee of €4 per person to maintain the trails and bridges. It's quite a good long walk, so pick the right time of day for your visit, because during the summer months it does get very hot and it is a steep climb and it can get very busy with tourists. The area is very well maintained and the authorities are constantly upgrading and maintaining the paths and other public areas. High mountains soar above you, collecting the water that continuously cascades down, forming the pools and the famous falls. You will often find Spanish families who can travel quite long distances just to have a swim. Remember, this is Spain and health and safety is not as stringent as the UK. So if you do have young children with you, please keep an eye on them so they don't wander too closely to the accessible waterfalls. Being so accessible, it does mean that there are no restrictions if you do wish to have a dip in the cold water. Do make sure you have some waterproof shoes to wear when you go into the water, as there are a lot of pebbles and rocks to negotiate. And don't expect the water to warm up much during the summer months. It remains very cold all the year round. As well as the impressive waterfalls and pools, have a look around at the vast array of flora and fauna that surrounds the area as well. As well as the waterfalls, there are plenty of places for curious minds to explore and sights and sounds to soak up. We spent a good couple of hours there and filled the time very easily indeed. The falls are in complete contrast to the usual arid inland areas of the Costa Blanca, where dried up riverbeds litter the landscape. The abundance of water at El Algar reminds us that parts of Spain can be green and lush, with a variety of plants and wildlife that thrive in these favourable conditions. This really is an ideal place to bring the whole family. When you've finished at the falls and had a spot of lunch possibly in one of the many restaurants, then head to the second location on this day out, the village of Guadalest. A short drive away and occupying one of the most stunning positions in Spain, this small village is one of the most visited in the whole of Spain and is precariously perched on the pinnacle of a granite mountain, giving fabulous views across the valley carved out by the river from which the village takes its name. Guadalest, though, occupies one of the most stunning positions in Spain. It's only a relatively small village, but it's one of the most visited in the whole of the country. However, the building you'll see most of on postcards is the whitewashed bell tower, which seems to cling to the mountain face. It's the image most people will take away with them in several photos and video footage, and is really the sort of unofficial symbol of Guadalest. The castle at the top of the village can only be entered by one small tunnel, which is cut through the rock of the San Jose Gate. One of the original doors is still there, and is just one of the many sights that you can see in this historic village. You may be lucky to witness a wedding when you visit Guadalest. There is a beautiful little chapel in the village itself and is a favourite with couples who have been using it to tie the knot for hundreds of years. The picture postcard setting is the ideal way to start married life and a great way for visitors to the village to share part of your special day. The small number of permanent inhabitants of Guadalest now use tourism as their main source of income, so there are a variety of gift shops and museums for you to explore, as well as guided tours of the village and castle. The highlight, though, has to be the views from the top of the village, looking down at the turquoise water below. It really is spectacular. Remember, this is one of Spain's top tourist locations, and as so during high season can get very busy. So do plan your trip, and if you can go off season, then it is advised. Make sure you leave plenty of time to visit and see everything that Guadalest has to offer. There is quite a lot to see and take in, and you don't want to miss anything. And if you haven't got a decent camera, make sure you borrow one so that you can share all your experiences with family and friends back in the UK. Although Guadalest is quite hilly, it shouldn't pose too much of a problem for most people, and it's also accessible for wheelchairs and pushchairs. Well, hopefully we've whetted your appetite with a brief look at these two very different but breathtaking tourist attractions, which are only about an hour and a half from the Orihuela Costa, and a perfect way to spend the day for people of all ages and tastes.